What is up, Static Gamers? It is Nathaniel S5496. Today I wanted to talk about Forge a little bit. No script today, just me talking, so hope you guys enjoy the background. I just got off work, so I hope you guys are great. Anyway, getting on, I wanted to talk about Forge. Forge is coming around the corner. It's going to be about, what, month and a half from now, I think is about right when the winter update. I think it's sooner than that. It's the November 8th, if I remember correctly. We're going to finally get our hands on Forge, and so I wanted to talk about my expectations going forward for Forge after release. So I am kind of aware of where we're getting with Forge. And what we're going to have when we get there, and I think it's going to be nowhere near where I think it could be considered complete. And I kind of have a Forge list that I would really like to see as added content to Forge later on, and that's kind of what this video is for. I would say I was going to do like a top 10 thing, but unfortunately I don't know if I actually have 10 top things that I want for Forge. The main things I want to talk about is like what would I expect out of Forge going into the future. Right now I'm expecting a slightly improved version of Halo 5, and that does seem what it looks like, and it's looking amazing. I have to note with the Forge team, I can see the love and the care that has gone into Forge compared to other sections of the game of Halo Infinite, which is a shame because Forge is succeeding really well and looks really well, as where multiplayer is yet to be desired. Things like playable elites are still missing, a progression system, and all that. And even on the campaign side of things, with the campaign team, the lack of co-op and whatnot, which is all videos for another day. Today I want to focus on the gem side of Halo Infinite, which is the Forge, where you can create some amazing things. So what do I hope Forge will become over the years as they add things, change things, and fix things for Forge? Well, I hope Forge becomes a mode where the idea or the premise behind it is, if I can think of it, I can make it. And what I mean by this is, I had this idea for a mode that would have been really cool, I think, for a mod, where it's like 16 player versus 16 player, and you've got a Scarab on each team, and the game ends if Team A destroys Team B's Scarab, or something like that. Well, because of my mentality, if I could think of it, I could make it, it would be really cool to actually be able to do something like that in Halo Infinite. Now, I understand Scarab doesn't exist in Halo Infinite. They don't have it in the files, at least far as to my knowledge. And with that being said, it would take a huge resource, but that kind of goes into part of my wish list for future Forge, is some massive vehicles to mess around with. And what I mean by massive vehicles, I'm talking like iconic vehicles that Halo's had over the years that could be used in a Forge setting, machinima setting, or even some form of wacky gameplay setting. Basically, the types of vehicles that I'm talking about that I would like to see is, like, I don't know, the Grizzly tank, the Plasma Rhino, a couple of Halo Wars vehicles, the Elephant from Halo 3, or even the Oliphant from Halo ODST, the Mammoth from Halo 4, Saber, Seraph, and the Longsword, Broadsword, those kind of things. Massive vehicles, especially considering they said that the canvases are now 2 to 3 times larger than they are, and the player lobby count size has increased. I would love to see unique oddities, and the reason why this is kind of on my wish list is specifically Sandtrap from Halo 3. Has a special place in my heart because of the elephants. It's stupid, it's not really competitive viable, and well, it's still fun though. Like, I think not a single person didn't freaking disregard it. I love the fact that like, I can make the connection between Halo 3 Sandtrap's elephant and Halo Wars, and it's just kind of really cool, and I would like to have that same kind of connection in Forge. Bigger vehicles to mess around with in Forge to make cool things, like having the Covenant Lich, for example, was really cool in Halo 4, being able to kind of explore it. You know, imagine having your Scarab to explore while in Forge, and even making a mode behind it. Which leads on to the next thing, AI with Forge. Now, obviously, we have the Spartans, and they have an evolution creative content for gamers that I've never seen in another game before, and that is the Spartans being able to move around in Forge mate-based object. Now, this is something that we really wanted back. I always wanted back in the day with the original Halo Reach, was the ability to place AI, but Forge objects they couldn't pathfind across it. Well, it seems like with Infinite they're going to be able to do that. So what do I think the evolution that they could add in regards to Forge? Well, I'm thinking Firefight could become a part of Forge, and the reason why I think that is back in Reach, it wasn't so much in ODST days, but in Reach days, I always had this dream of being able to forge my own Firefight-esque like maps, and with Infinite, I think that realm of possibility is there, and if the Forge team does get this somehow, I would absolutely love them to consider this as an option. I do believe there was a mode hinted as to where the Banish was going to be present on multiplayer maps for some sort of similar style mode, which kind of gets me hopeful that if we wanted to, we could create Firefight. Going back to that idea of if I can think of it, I can make it. It wouldn't be as cool if we just made it all a bunch of Spartans and whatnot. But the premise of Forge is I want to think of it as like a Gary's Mod evolution. You know, what could Forge and custom games be like if G43 only ever did a multiplayer focus? You know, ignore the campaign. I just want them to think bigger, grandiose, and larger than, you know, like they do with some of the other modes. Another thing that I hope they will consider is playable elites. Now, this kind of more just goes to the overall, but the main reason I say that is because Forge comes along with a lot of responsibility as well in the machinima community, and elites are a big iconic thing for the machinima community as well as sanctuary culture and icon items. So it would be really nice to actually finally get some level of that stuff. I feel like Halo Infinite would be the best place to bridge that gap, because I do feel like elites still have a place within Infinite, especially in custom games, and to have that be able to mix in with Forge would be even more amazing. And the reason why I say playable elites is because, going back to that, if I can think of it, can I make it? I'm thinking of like, well, what if I want to do elites versus brutes or elites versus Spartans and try to recreate Invasion? Now, we probably could create a Warzone Assault style-esque thing, but that's another thing, is if we can think it, can we make it? Like, can we make our own mini campaigns? And this is kind of a thing that I really would want to do with Forge, something that would get me to spend a lot of time making very well polished maps. And the kind of things that I just want to do with Halo Infinite is try to push the engine to its limits. Another thing that's kind of off on the side, but I haven't seen notice of them talking about it, but the ability to do custom text. I know they have like letter strings that they had in Halo 5, but I want to have the ability to put in my own text. So that way, like, say I have a map that works a specific way, I can have a wall of text that explains how the game's supposed to be played. It'd be really cool to have that among Forge. That's just kind of one of my minor requests for that kind of stuff. And I mean, for the most part, regarding Forge, aside from like these few things, that's kind of where I stand with Forge, because I want some of these grandiose scale items and just things that could exist in Forge. And then there are future evolutions to Forge that I'd like to see, but I want to see more than just additional Forge pieces or reskin Forge pieces introduced into Halo Infinite. I want to see things that could give us more practical use, you know, utilities that could be used even more in the future. And again, going on to like the Saber and Seraph, I know they're in as an object, but I don't know if they're actually in as a vehicle. It would be really cool if we had them as a vehicle, because it would just be, in my opinion, a missed opportunity if we couldn't create space fights if we wanted to, if we couldn't place Covenant frigates if we wanted to, or even AI to spice up our scenario outside of the AI Spartans. I'm just trying to think of something that would really kind of satisfy the itch for a PvE type of thing, because I feel like if we were given the ability to kind of create our own things, I would spend the time to make that Firefight S mode, because sometimes I just want to go sit down and just kill enemies and whatnot. It's like It's like right now, there's not really a huge reason to go play Infinite over MCC, because in MCC, if I get bored of something, there's always something to do in MCC. Like if I want to go play, don't want to play sweaty multiplayer, there's casual multiplayer. If I don't want to do casual multiplayer or a specific mode in casual multiplayer, there's another casual multiplayer mode that I can go play. I don't want to play that, I can go in the campaign, get really casual. But what if I played a story a million times and tired of it? I can go play Firefight, just kill AI for fun. And if I really wanted to, I can just go mess around in Forge like the old days, like how I used to. And if I really feel like being creative, go into Forge, create a map, get my friends, role play, and then pump out a machinima for YouTube. It's the kind of things that I believe that at least Reach alone in itself insinuated that there was always something to do, something for a community, and Halo Infinite doesn't quite feel like that. And with Forge coming around and the custom game browser coming around, I think it would be amazing to have tools that could go anywhere beyond what other Halo has done. You know, perhaps your own little scripted campaign sequences, even if it's not quite that, making your own firefights. It's just something that I wish the Forge team would look into and give it heavy consideration, and especially with the playable elites. And I know that's more of the multiplayer team itself, but it's still a request that I wish to have. Anyway, that's my thought on Forge. For you guys coming who've come to this video, if you have any thoughts and opinions of what you would like to see after Forge releases, the kinds of updates, feel free to jot them down in the description below. I would love to get a discussion going across if that is all possible. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. This is Nathaniel S5496, signing out.